God, I love Oneesan types. Gamerbraves. What's up guys, this is Wan Amirul from Gamerbraves, and today we're going to be taking a look at Scarlet Nexus, which might just be the most anime game to ever animate. But before we do, don't forget to tell us what games you're looking forward to, and subscribe to the channel so you can see when we cover them. So, how anime is anime? Well, it has its own opening sequence, so that's pretty anime. I love it. Scarlet Nexus takes place in the massive city of New Himuka, in a world where almost everyone has brain augments and psionic powers. And the character you play, Yuito or Kasane, joins the OSF to fight off others, which is really cool looking monsters. So, I have to say, Scarlet Nexus actually does its whole dual story thing pretty well. Unlike a lot of games that like to say your decisions matter, Scarlet Nexus means it with only one choice: who you play as. Depending on if you pick Yuito or Kasane, you'll only experience the story from their perspective, and it's definitely enough to cloud what you think of the characters. For example, Kasane only sees Yuito as an overly nice guy who she's trying to set up with her sister, and you never really see Yuito in a different light as a result. Entire parts of Yuito's story are completely oblivious to Kasane, so it creates a really interesting effect where of course you'd support the character you chose more. Of course, the character you pick also affects your choice of party members, and you'll also face off against the other character's party members in boss fights. I don't know man, it's a small detail, but seeing your characters break off to go be a boss fight in the other route is a really cool detail, and I think it really helps sell the fact that you're seeing the story from a different route. My main gripe with the game's story is the way it's presented. The game goes all visual novel for most of the cutscenes, with mostly static portraits talking over a slideshow of events from the game. I really don't like this, not just for the format, but also because it's a format done poorly. Persona does this too more or less, but at least each character has an array of different expressions, all animated differently to match each character's personality. Here, every character is in the same position, with the only real difference being the shape of their eyes. It's not ideal, and it hurts the game, since the game's roster of characters is actually pretty good. It's extra funny when you see the game's cut-ins for the SAS system, because those are really well done, and are a way better showcase of each character's personalities. Again, I'm not expecting Ratchet and Clank cutscenes, but a little more silhouette difference would be great for the talking portraits. Gripes about the story aside, Scarlet Nexus is a pretty good hack and slash. You control your character and chain moves using a combination of psychokinesis and your melee weapon of choice, depending on whether you're playing as Yuito or Kasane, that is. At first, I wasn't a fan of the fact that you had to hold the triggers to use the psychokinesis attacks, but it actually works pretty well with the game's combo systems. All your combo enders give you a good window to charge the throw, and you can cancel the throw recovery to do a rush attack, creating a pretty satisfying loop. You can also use the brain map to get more skills, some of which are new combos, letting you do things like air juggles, air dashes, you know, the good stuff. Of course, you can also use your party members to activate the SAS system. This lets you borrow their powers, enhancing your own. At first I was worried that they would be all elemental based, making it quite boring. But good old Bandai Namco Entertainment have actually done us a really good job of making it so that each SAS actually changes up your playstyle, such as with Kyoka making your throws better, or Kagero giving you a new charged attack. A lot of the abilities tend to be hard counters to specific enemies, but that doesn't mean they're totally useless outside of those. Arashi can stop time, meaning you can style on your enemies a la Devil May Cry by keeping enemies in the air for longer. Better yet, using the game's bond system unlocks new moves for your party members, so even if a character's tools are boring now, you'll probably unlock better ones down the line, such as Shiden, who gains the power of Oki at level 2. Nice. You also have multiple installs, such as the Brain Drive, which gives you improved performance, and the Brain Field, which turns you into death incarnate as you chuck objects at enemies like a girl upon seeing a guy sneak into the onsen. My only gripe is that Brain Drive doesn't feel like that big of a change, and since you can't control when it activates, sometimes you'll go into it without realizing, even though you get the fancy cut-in. Speaking of that bond system, it's got a real weird pace to it, but I'm all for it. The game basically has Persona social links, where battling with your party members and getting them gifts raises their affection to you. The best thing is that the benefits are pretty great, and the game actually gives you dedicated social link time with the standby phases. These are essentially in-between missions where you can either grind or talk to your party, and are so great because the story moves at such a brisk pace That'd be weird for you and Kyoka to go out on an ice cream date while the world is about to be eaten by vases with legs. The only time this gets weird is with the game's other implementation of its dual story system, where you'll sometimes get Bond episodes with members of the other party. Considering I just threw some of these guys through a concrete wall, it's really weird for them to invite me out for dinner, especially since both parties accuse the other of some pretty heinous stuff in the game. Scarlet Nexus gets an 8 out of 10 from us. It's got style overwhelming, with its J-Rock aesthetic, cool gameplay, and pretty bold storytelling options. There's even fun stuff, like playing dress up with your party members to make them all wear cat ears, so it's not like it's a permanent downer with its plot. Still, some of its biggest flaws come from not going as hard all around. The cutscenes are easily pretty boring with their presentation, which is a shame because the story is actually pretty great. The game's also pretty long, so if you want to experience both routes, be prepared for a 60-hour trip. Our thanks to Bandai Namco Entertainment for sending us codes for the game. Scarlet Nexus is available now on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, as well as their last-gen counterparts. What's your favorite anime game? Let us know in the comments. This has been Wan Amirul from Gamerbraves, signing off. Today's comment comes from our Final Fantasy Origin gameplay video, where WizNoLeg writes, "Is this a PS3 game? You tell me, man." While Final Fantasy Origin definitely isn't the prettiest Final Fantasy game, it's got some pretty solid gameplay, so I'm more than willing to let it slide if the combat in the final version of the game stays that good. Thanks again for commenting, and don't forget to leave more comments if you want them read in the next video. Hey there! Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to give us a subscribe if you'd like to see more, and like so we know what kind of content you want to see. Got suggestions for new content? Let us know in the comments below too. Thank you so much again for watching. Take care, dudes.